I don't think Mia had much of an idea that she was getting a Jeep. She'd mentioned it a few times, but I don't think that she really knew it was going to happen.
I found a present for you. Mum said I should give it to you now.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Mia.
What's that?
Oh, my name.
For me, I really wanted something for her that she could do everything that her brothers do. Whatever the boys can do, Mia can do as far as Mia is concerned.
Wait for it, feel it, there you go. Give it, punch it a little bit.
I really wanted something that she could she could go out and wheel with the boys, she could tow a camper trailer, she'd go out camping with her mates and all of those sorts of things. But I also wanted something, I didn't want her in a big, lifted, unreliable, engine swapped, 40-inch tired, you know, typical Patriot style. I wanted her in something that was going to be reliable. So when considering the choices, and there was many choices that I did consider, I kind of narrowed it down to those two fields. The car, first of all, it had to be reliable. That's number one. I'm putting my little girl in it. Sorry, number one, it had to be safe. Number two, it had to be reliable. And number three, and just as importantly, it had to be capable. And the day down at Gold Coast Jeep, our local Jeep dealership down here, you know, when we took her down there, was a pretty emotional day for the whole family. She's the firstborn of the grandchildren. There's about 26 of them now. You know, between my brothers and sisters, we've got a very big family, but she's the first girl, so she's very special to the family. So the whole family came down, and I think that when we pulled that cover off and revealed to her this vehicle behind, it couldn't have gone any better. You know, you could see the emotion in her face, and that was the perfect start for her falling in love with her first car.
Ready?
It's all yours, mate. Have a look.
The emotions today have been up and down. It's been an absolute roller coaster. I mean, we've been waiting for this moment to give Mia the Jeep, the colour she wants, everything she wants, and yeah, I mean, she didn't pass her driving test, but I failed twice. You know, not many people do pass the first time, and the nerves get to you. But I've got to say, this is a great feeling to be able to bring her here after the disappointment and see that smile on her face and all the family here. So it's ended out to be a great outcome.
The love for Jeep, for me, I don't think it's much of a secret. It happened in the second season of filming Patriot Games when we launched the Patriot Campers brand into the United States, and I wanted to be very heavily focused in the US on the Jeep market. You know, it's such a big market there in the US, and we went over there to Moab, and I actually rented 3 Jeeps to collect all the marketing assets for Patriot Campers, and it was maybe not even at the end of the first day, you know, we were out wheeling in Moab, towing 3 camper trailers in one of the most spectacular places I've ever been in my life, that it was just apparent that out of the box, these vehicles were just, it was one of the most capable vehicles that I'd ever driven in my life, and it was fundamentally standard.
Dude, these little Jeeps are gnarly, honestly.
I think Jeep in the United States, I think there's a couple of reasons why it's as popular as it is. I think the patriotism in the US is, you know, the US is very focused on American made. And I think probably back in the original days when there was, you know, you had the Willys and the Toyotas, and even Nissan was having a crack at it with the military vehicles. I think when America produced their first vehicle that was, you know, capable of working for the US military, I think then Jeep became a real staple of the United States. But the capability of that vehicle, and throughout the years, you know, has just been, it's been phenomenal, and the aftermarket support in Jeep is probably the reason today that I think that Jeeps is as popular as it is. You know, The amount of accessories that are available, both from Jeep directly and obviously the aftermarket, means that you can really personalise that vehicle to whatever you're into and whatever style that you really like. And you know, it's funny going around the US shows and spending a lot of time in the US now. There's no two Jeep builds that are the same, and I think that's what makes Jeep so unique. Capable out of the box is, you know, having the ability to take your vehicle to destinations that you probably wouldn't normally go. We spend a lot of money modifying cars. It's something that, you know, I'm responsible for it, and there's a lot of enjoyment that comes with it. You know, it's not just about spending money on a vehicle, it's about pushing the boundaries and pushing the edge of what a vehicle is capable of doing. And I think that's the Jeep mantra right from the start, right out of the box. Coming with factory with twin lockers, coming with a solid front end is factory, you know, and even my dad says to me all the time, you know, and he tells me to take those things from Jeep. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, external door hinges on the Jeep, the grille, the slotted grille at the front. You know, these are takeaways of things that have come from necessity, first born from necessity, but have now become part of the Jeep brand, and things that don't change, I think, is what makes the Jeep so capable year on year. When they do make a change, it's functional. And I think that's the big difference of how the Jeep's evolved into what you see behind me. For me, the build's got to maintain that one of those first priorities, which is reliability. You know, when anybody who's modified a car, and depending on the extent that you've modified a car to, finding brands and products that fit within that vehicle and keep that vehicle as reliable as something that was dealer fit or factory fit, it can be really challenging, you know. The amount of parts that are available from Jeep out of the box is just unbelievable, and I think people are going to see that through the build series. There's not a lot that you actually have to do to these things to improve them so much more, but I think for me, the build for me, it's not more about the improvement of the performance, it's more about making this car hers, making it very unique, giving her the opportunity to pick the things that she wants that's going to enhance her experience when she's off-road. And that's what this build is all about for us. You know, we don't need to push this thing too far, because basically a factory car, it's going to go out and do anything that any of our builds can do. There's a couple of real standouts, you know. There's obviously the twin lockers make a huge improvement when you're off-road. Having that solid front end makes that thing just that little bit more hardcore. The ability to remove the roof is something, you know, that I can picture Mia over summer, you know, with all of her friends in there with the roof off. And in Australia, unfortunately, we can't take the doors off legally, but she can do that when she's off-road. I think they're probably the real standout features for me. And now with the new Wrangler, the one that made the biggest decision for us, obviously, doing what we do for a living, this thing now has 2.5 ton towing capability, which means anything in the current Patriot Campers lineup, Mia can legally tow. There's a misconception, I think, in Australia when it comes to the Jeep brand, but I think typically people are really scared of what they don't understand. The off-roading thing for me, first and foremost, is everybody gets so wound up about GVMs and towing capacity, but the reality of it is not everybody has a 30-foot caravan. So, I mean, for us, for what we do with Patriot, it's about keeping it light, keeping it nimble, and as far as capable four-wheel drives go, there's nothing like this on the market with that sort of capability out of the box. It has the towing capacity that Mia needs. It's got all the gear that Mia needs. We're seeing Jeep in Australia moving in the right direction as far as supporting their customers, the availability of spare parts, and I've experienced that now with my Gladiator. So when it came to Mia's first car, I don't think there was many other choices. Throughout the next couple of seasons, you're going to see me as Jeep go up against some of the biggest builds that Patriot's ever done in the fleet. I'm really excited to see where this vehicle's going to take it.